Good evening, Teachmeet Consett. My name is John Tate. Thanks to Ben for asking me to present. Sorry I couldn't be with you in person tonight. Instead, I've recorded a virtual presentation of my 7 Tools in 7 Minutes talk to help you create a digital classroom to inspire the digital generation. The first one we're going to look at is Comic Life. Comic Life's a fantastic piece of software you can get as an app from the App Store or as a desktop version. I've been using it to help me create revision tunes, and if I show you of a revision tune that a student has created for me, what we've been doing is we've been giving the students a different topic each. They've gone away and created a one-page revision tune with all the major content on. The fantastic thing about it is it saves as a JPEG, and the students can then save these to their phones. They download them from my VLE, and it helps to promote anytime, anywhere learning, because they can be using these as independent revision aids from their phones, from their iPods, and they can be using them on the bus, when they're at home, outside the exam hall, whenever they want. So that's going on as a massive hit with us, and I know through the PE community that I'm currently driving for the PE geeks, the PE staff all over the country are getting on board with this because they're seeing this as a fantastic way to get kids interested in creating their own revision sources. The next one is Skype. Skype's a common piece of free software in most houses. A lot of you will have used Skype before. If anyone doesn't know it, it is a video conferencing or a free phone call over the internet piece of software. The reason you can use it in classrooms is if you wanted to bring an expert into your classroom or into your school, it would probably cost you hundreds of pounds unless you knew someone. Via Skype, you can bring experts into your class every day and have a video chat with your students, and I'm sure you all probably know an expert in your field, whether it's a journalist, whether it's a professional footballer, whoever it may be. I used a professional footballer who spoke to my class last year, Graham Murty, who was ex-captain of Reading when they were in the Premier League. Graham's a good friend of mine, and he kindly set aside an hour to speak to my class about elite sport and technology in elite sport, and it was a fantastic way of getting a really high-profile presenter and an expert to speak to my students, and my students had prepared questions for him, and it was a wonderful way for them to actually find out a little bit more about a topic rather than just going through me all the time. So the question is really, who can you bring into your classroom for your students? Okay, the next one is YouTube. YouTube tends to get a bad press in schools, but that's really because of some of the videos on there and the way students use it maybe, and some of you may be shaking your heads now because it may be blocked in your school. I think what to do is to speak to your SMT and decide, can we start unblocking things if it's managed well. I use YouTube quite a lot, and I've created some playlists. This is some playlists I've created on my PE Geek site of all different subjects, and within each topic, within each sport there, I've got demonstrations of the correct sport, the correct skill, how to perform that skill perfectly. This could also work as a flipped classroom type of approach for you. If you've put a lot of content up there, you can then send out links via Twitter, via email, via text messages, via your VLE, and link them directly to these videos, and you can store these so you know exactly where they are for your next lesson, for next year, for next month, whenever it may be. So have a look at creating your own YouTube channel like I've done there. There's lots of help guides on Google for you to do that. The next one is Awesome Screenshot. Awesome Screenshot is an add-on to Google Chrome. It sits in the top right-hand corner of Google Chrome. You can download it for free. And what it lets you do, it lets you annotate the screen and save JPEGs of websites. Now this is great. This is a website or a page from my own blog. What I've done here to show you is I've put arrows on in yellow, I've put black text on, and this would be great if you were setting your students a homework task or a coursework task where they have to do some independent research of various websites, or you were trying to tell them, you were trying to show them specific content on certain websites. You could then pull the website up, you could create all this, you could put arrows on, you could put text boxes on, save it as a JPEG, you can bring it up in your class the next day. Again, you can send it out, put it on your VLE, do whatever you want with it, and it directs the students to the correct areas on the page rather than the students looking at a huge website and saying, Miss, I don't know what you mean. You can direct them exactly to where you want to. The next one is Poll Everywhere. Poll Everywhere is a free text messaging service. It allows you to assess progress, it allows you to collect student feedback, and to also conduct mini plenaries throughout your lesson. All you do is you sign up for a free account, and your students then have a certain a certain number for them to put in their phone. Yes, it does cost the students the normal price of a text message, but I generally find that a lot of people are on price plans and they've got bundles of text messages anyway. Obviously, you would need to make sure you had a facility in your class for people who didn't have a phone that lesson. I still hear a lot of schools say their mobile phones are banned in school. We've just adopted a policy where if the teacher says that they can have their phone out to use it for a specific reason in the lesson, then that's fine. And obviously it comes down to your classroom management. What it allows you to do is set a question up, you get a certain number, the kids text a number with their answer, and their answer appears on the whiteboard in front of them immediately, and you can get some fantastic visual feedback, and the students seem to like it. It's just a little bit different from using the everyday small whiteboards in your classroom. Next one, QR codes. QR codes are starting to be really big. Not just in education, but in media, on magazines and in books. And what QR codes do, if you haven't seen them before, is they bring displays to life. Now, you may have seen a QR code like this in front of you now and not really know what it is. What it does, if you download a free iPhone app, if you just type into the App Store QR code reader, there's loads of free ones on there. What it does is it links to a specific piece of a website. Now that code on your screen right now links to my blog. So I've created one. You can just go into any free QR code creator within the internet. You type in the website you want it to go to, and then it produces a little JPEG like the one I've got there, which when you hold your phone up and scan it with your free iPhone scanner or your free Android scanner, if you've got a different type of phone, it will immediately launch the website and it will take you straight to there. So how does that work in education? Well, what we've got here is in our RE department, we've got a big poster on the wall, a big display, and all of the QR codes you see on the left hand side all link to YouTube videos about the areas on the right hand side. So the students have a look at it and they can think, right, what's this about? Scan it and they see a video straight away playing on their phone about the topic that's on the right hand side. Fantastic to bring your displays to life. I would really recommend using that. Lastly, Explain Everything. It is an app, and this is the app that I'm currently using to do the screencast. It lets you it says exactly what it says on the tin. It lets you explain absolutely anything at all. It links with your Dropbox account, so you can put any piece of work you want into the Dropbox account, and you can then download it into Explain Everything and do exactly what I'm doing now. You can put arrows on the screen, you can highlight text, you can talk over it. You can then upload that to your VLE, you can upload it to YouTube, you can do whatever you want with it. I've used it in two different ways. I've used it to explain the exam material, the pre-release material for my GCSE kids every year, talking about what I think is going to come up on the exam. I've also used it, like I've got here on the screen, to explain my feedback to a piece of coursework to a student. So rather than writing reams and reams of comments and wondering if the student's A, going to read it, B, are they going to understand it, and C, are they going to know whereabouts in the piece of text I'm talking about, I can go through slide by slide, talking over the top, putting arrows on and telling them what they did well, what they didn't do well in certain areas. It's a fantastic tool. I would certainly, if you have an iPad, I would certainly recommend you getting that, having a play around with it and seeing what you can actually get out of it. Well, thanks for listening. I hope there's something for everyone that you can take back to your classroom tomorrow. If you want to contact me, you can find me on Twitter, at the bottom left, @TeamTate, or at my blog at the bottom right, edutate.com. And I hope you enjoy the rest of the evening. Thank you very much.